Hey, Lisa. Are we ready to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I'll slow. Ooh. Good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to our Van Nuys City Hall. This is a Rules and Election Committee hearing. I am joined by Mr. Tom Labange, so we do have a quorum. So, Madam Clerk, let us begin. We have a series of items that are basically on our consent calendar. I'd like to pull item 1 from that because it's my understanding we have a speaker, but I'd like to add, well, no, I'll take number 10. We'll deal with that separately. Okay, so if we could go from items 2 through 9. Now, do you have to read all of those?
I can read them.
Okay, yeah, just give us a... And if you get tired, make Dion, make the city attorney read it.
Okay, item 2 is CLA report and resolution relative to Federal Food and Drug Administration action to reduce or eliminate trans fats. Item 3, CLA report and resolution relative to legislation to allow Filipino nationals legally in the U.S. to continue working or going to school, regardless if their visa expires until the Philippines recovers from the typhoon. Item number 4 is CLA report and resolution relative to legislation or administrative action that will lead to the creation of an environment wherein the city of Long Beach and the Greater Los Angeles region will become the most desirable location for building the Boeing 777 jetliner. Item number 5, CLA report and resolution relative to Senate Bill 1708 and Bill 3494, which would amend Title 23 with respect to establishment of non-motorized performance measures. Item 6 is report and resolution relative to opposition to the report and order and further notice of proposed rulemaking, which severely limits local authority over the national expansion of existing wireless facilities. And item number 7 is a CLA report and resolution relative to Department of Transportation, Housing and Fire and Police pensions.
Okay, thank you very much. We also have a card on item 6, so I want to hold that. Drew, I want to hold that as well. So let's begin to go through these items.
Yeah, he called one.
Okay, item 2, we will adopt the CLA report and resolution. Item 3, John, what is it that you want us to do? The revised?
Yes, there's a revised resolution in the CLA report.
Okay, so at item 3, that's the resolution that we will adopt, the one that's revised. Item 4, we'll adopt the CLA report and resolution. That's the same with item 5.
Number 4 for the good work of the city of Long Beach if they get the Boeing job. That's what we want.
All right, Mr. Labange. And I said the same for item 5, the report and resolution. We're holding 6. 7 is the adopting the report and resolution, and 8 is to adopt the report as amended. And item 9, we will adopt the Ethics Commission report. So without objection, that will be the order. That leaves us, Madam Clerk, if I'm right, with items 1, 6, and 10. So you know what, let's jump to item 10, and I would recommend, Mr. Labange, that we would approve item 10. There is an amendment. I think it's listed as item 10. That's the amendment. Maybe, Patrice, you could read that into the record.
For item 10, the ordinance to be amended, section 49.5.8C4. For all other restricted sources, the applicable gift limit is $100 per calendar year.
Okay, thank you. And just out of courtesy, would the ethics team like to say anything, or can we just move forward? Or I think we can move forward. With that said, Mr. Labange, if you don't have a problem or a concern.
I don't have a problem, but they came all the way out, but I just say if they give us 1 minute just so we hear on the record.
Tom.
Okay.
Trust me.
I just don't want
That was, no, that's my fault for a failure to communicate. All right, so without objection, that will be the order. Why don't we go to item 6? If you could again read item 6, and I think I have a Julie Levine. Please come forward. If you could read item 6.
Item 6 is CLA report and resolution relative to legislation which would severely limit local authority over the rational expansion of existing wireless facilities.
Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Julie Levine. I'm a citizen and resident of Los Angeles County. I became electrosensitive as a result of the expansion of the smart meter program in my community. And since then, I am extremely sensitive to Wi-Fi. It causes me heart palpitations, and I have been diagnosed with pre-cancer. I had to sell my home, and I've had to move off-grid. The reason I'm speaking on this issue is because I believe that allowing for the further expansion of Wi-Fi in the city of LA is actually creating a potential liability for the city. There are multiple class action lawsuits going on against local governments and utility companies regarding the proliferation and the expansion of Wi-Fi, particularly because of the fact that Wi-Fi provides 24-hour exposure. It's not specific, it's full body exposure, and because of the growing body of evidence that shows the link between Wi-Fi and other microwave pulse radiation and cancer, child autism, leukemia, and is particularly difficult for people who have existing health conditions like myself, previous head injuries, breaking of the blood-brain barrier, etc. I believe that the potential for lawsuits and the concern with our children's health and all of our residents of Los Angeles health really needs to be considered. Finally, I do want to say that the World Health Organization has deemed microwave pulse radiation to be a Class 2B carcinogen, and they advised that further research was needed before it be expanded. Meanwhile, the rush to expand this technology and add to the exposure of this electrosmog or this electricity in our immediate environment is something we should all be concerned about. Thank you.
Now, thank you very much for enlightening me. What I'd like to do is request that the proper department make inquiries where it relates to Ms. Levine's concerns, because that is new to me, but given the direction that the chair of that committee wants to go in at this time, Mr. Labange, I would recommend that on item 6 we proceed and adopt the CLA report and resolution.
Very well.
Okay, so Mr. Labange agrees, so without objection, that'll be the order on item 6. Patrice, that brings us to item 1. Okay, I have a couple of speaker cards on this item. And is that Isabel Charleston? Isabel Charleston, Alexandra Nagy, maybe, something like. Please come forward, and if I mispronounced your name, I apologize, but come forward and state your name for the record.
This is
Yes.
Isabel Charleston.
Oh, okay. Go right in. No, come on in. You can say your piece.
Excuse me?
No, you can.
Oh, okay. I just want all of you to be aware that the problem with the monarch butterflies is real. I have seen the sanctuary in Mexico about 10 years ago. Last year, they only have 60 million coming back to the sanctuary, and this year we only have 3 million butterflies. They think that probably next year we probably won't have any. And this is a big problem for our economy. Thank you.
You're finished? Thank you for coming out. Okay, Alexandra, followed by, I think it's well, I'm having a rough last name day today, so if there's a Kevin, last name begins with an M. Kevin, if you could come forward and state your name first, and I will ask you to do the same. So, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, thank you. My name is Alexandra Nagy, and I'm the Southern California organizer for Food and Water Watch, and it's good to be here this morning. So thank you, President Wesson and council members, for hearing this important resolution today. The syndrome known as the colony collapse disorder is having catastrophic impact on our honeybee populations, causing as much as 1/3 of the nation's bees to just disappear each winter since 2006. And the problem is getting worse. This past year, U.S. beekeepers lost an average of 45% of their colonies. I don't want to minimize this, but this problem is putting the long-term security of our food supply at risk. Pollinators are vital to our food supply, to our agriculture system, and therefore to California's economy. They pollinate over 1/3 of the food we eat, improve production for 75% of all crop species, and are essential for many of California's key crops, including almonds, avocados, apples, and cherries. Almonds alone bring nearly $4 billion into California's economy. The primary suspect for colony collapse disorder is neosotinoid pesticides, which affect the bees' nervous systems and their memories. They fly off and never come back to the hive, which is why they just seem to disappear. Bees are not the only insects being affected by these pesticides. The New York Times reported last week that last year's record low of only 60 million monarch butterflies migrating from the U.S. to Mexico has been surpassed this year. This year, as of last week, fewer than 3 million monarch butterflies have showed up. 3 million down from 60. And these pesticides are the prime suspects. The European Food Safety Authority concluded that neosotinoid pesticides pose a high acute risk to pollinators, and last Sunday on December 1st, the European Union began a 2-year ban on these pesticides. In an attempt to address this growing problem in the United States, 2 members of Congress, John Conyers of Michigan and Earl Blumenauer of Oregon, introduced H.R. 2692, which calls for suspension of these same neosotinoids. The bill has been referred to the House Agriculture and Biotechnology Committee and has 41 co-sponsors, including a number of members from California. This resolution supports this bill. To wrap up, the Time quotes Douglas Tallamy, a professor of etymology at the University of Delaware, who says, "We notice the monarch and bees because they are iconic insects, but what do you think is happening to everything else?" He goes on, "If the bees were truly to disappear, we would lose 80% of the plants. That is not an option. That's a huge problem for mankind. 80%. We need to do more, and we need to do it today." Councilmember Kretz urges your A vote to save the pollinators. Thank you.
Thank you. So do we have Kevin Maltus, or... Welcome, sir.
My name's Kevin Matis, and we're talking about pollination, environmental pollutants. When we're talking about environmental pollutants, the new environmental pollutant is the microwaves that are used in wireless and the radio frequency radiation it's exposing people to. And I appreciate you saying that you didn't know about this, and a lot of people are very ignorant of these facts. The fact is the World Health Organization has classified these microwaves as a Class 2B carcinogen. Our move to Wi-Fi the entire city of LA is a grave mistake. Our move to put wireless in our classrooms is a grave mistake. Our move to expose people to increasing amounts
Kevin?
of radio frequency radiation
Kevin.
is a grave mistake.
Kevin, hold 1 second, Kevin.
He doesn't
Mr.
appear to be-
City.
He does not appear to be talking about item 1.
Okay, so you've got to go back. Had I had a card on you,
I submitted
Earl,
my card before she
but
was
it-
finished.
but what I have is on item 1, correct? So focus on item 1 if you would.
Blue or black?
I submitted my card while she
No,
was
I'm
still
not gonna
doing public comment.
I'm really a nice guy, but I'm not going to debate that with you. Now you have to discuss item 1. You started out that way.
Yeah, I felt like I was, and I felt like this is a big environmental pollutant that we haven't been considering. So when UCLA is doing studies showing health effects from this kind of pollutant, when USC is doing studies showing it and we're ignoring that, it's hard
Thank
to
you.
understand.
Thank you, Mr. Maltus. Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Labange, did you have anything you wanted to say on item 1?
I just want on issues like this, I'd like to know if the CLA could find out before it goes to council, opinions of the county health department for the county of Los Angeles, and also all the health departments in the Southern California SCAG areas. You know, SCAG is the government entity that overlooks that. It includes some from Imperial County, Riverside, San Bernardino, Ventura, and Orange County. Thank you.
Excellent idea, Mr. Labange. Okay, without objection, on item 1, we'll adopt the CLA report and resolution. You fine with that, Mr. Labange?
Yes.
Then that'll be the order. Madam Clerk, is there any additional business before this committee? Then this committee is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. The council meeting will start shortly. Thank you.
13 minutes.